area though. Now, it has a kind of link, I like to say, to our sister city. Now, our sister city being Nashville, Tennessee, in the US. If you think of Nashville, you think maybe of the country music scene. Now, a singer, performing artist actually came from this area here in West Belfast. Now, she rose to fame from the 1950s and 1960s, having 5 top number ones at the one time. And the only other group who began to do that were actually the Beatles. Now, she lived just down this street to our right. And her name was Ruby Murray. Now, I'm not talking about a curry dish, anyone, but Ruby Murray. Now, does anyone up the top know who she is? No? See a shaking head? That's okay. But I'm sure you'll know some of her songs, including Softly, Softly, Danny Boy, or even You Are My Sunshine.
Oh, yeah.
You know the one that goes, You are my sunshine, my only sunshine, you make me happy. Yeah, that one.
She can sing.
As soon as I said that, everyone's head started to nod. But no, that was all performed and sung by Ruby Murray. They lived just over to our right. Throughout this tour so far, I pointed out some amazing pieces of architecture. Another is just coming up to our left. This though is recognisable all around the world. You see it, and you know instantly what it is. It's just coming into view now. There we go. The McDonald's. Absolutely stunning piece of architecture. Behind that though, the large sculpture is known as the Rise sculpture. It was built in 2011. It's actually our largest outdoor art installation here in Belfast. Now the one sphere inside of another, they represent all communities here in Belfast and Northern Ireland living together in harmony. Although, for those of you who started the tour, you know that we like to nickname our pieces of artwork here. So this obviously isn't called the Rise sculpture. It's often referred to as the Balls on Falls. That's because it sits on the end of the Falls Road. Now there are a few more vulgar nicknames for it as well. I won't go into those as it is a family show. But I'll leave it up to your imagination. A little bit of a hint towards those names though. This is also the west of Belfast. This does mean though that we're heading into West Belfast. Soon to be heading onto the Falls Road, then passing the Peace Wall and then down the Shankill Road. Now while both the Falls and the Shankill Road so much of a conflict throughout the Troubles itself. Anyone following along on our maps, this will also be stopped 12 and 13. 12 and 13 along on our maps. Now before we make it up to the Falls Road, I'll just give a quick overview of the Troubles themselves. Now back in 1920 there was a bill proposed, and that was to separate Ireland into two. That came into effect in 1921 when 6 counties formed Northern Ireland. Now there's 2 major groups here in Northern Ireland. You have the Loyalist, Unionist or Protestant community, as well as the Nationalist, Republican or Catholic community. Now both of these communities wanted different outcomes for Northern Ireland and then Northern Ireland's future. The Unionist, Loyalist or Protestant community wanted to remain part of the United Kingdom and remain under the Crown, whereas the Nationalist, Republican or Catholic community wanted to rejoin Ireland and become one whole island nation. Now this is not a new concept, but it did reach new heights within the 1970s, with 1972 being noted as the worst year of the Troubles in terms of deaths, bombings and shootings. Now the conflict continued throughout the 80s and 90s, coming to an end with the Good Friday Agreement in 1998. Now obviously it's not like that today, otherwise we wouldn't be travelling through these areas on a tour bus. But you can still see what community or what area you are in. So here on the Falls Road, it's predominantly Nationalist, Republican or Catholic. So you'll see both the Irish and English language on shop fronts as well as street signs. You'll also see the Irish tricolour flying. And this will differ as we head on to the Shankill Road, which is predominantly Unionist, Loyalist or Protestant. Now the colours of red, white and blue will be prominently displayed down the street. That could be maybe on the gutters or even street posts or lamp posts, as well as the Union Jack will be prominently displayed. As we do make our way through the falls and the Shankill Road, we're pointing out a few murals, statues and monuments. But if you are wanting to get a bit more of an in-depth understanding of these, feel free to jump out at all, make your own way along the falls and the Shankill Road, before jumping back on the next bus. I'd firstly like to point out though, coming up on our right, this is the James Connolly Centre. There's also a statue of James Connolly himself just out the front. Now James Connolly was a key member of the Easter Rising of 1916. Coming up on our left though, first you'll see the Irish tricolour, and that's outside a set of big black gates. That's actually the entrance to the largest Irish language school here in Belfast. That's just now over to our left. Now an Irish language school basically means that the entire curriculum is taught using the Irish language. So maths, history, geography, all taught using the Irish language. The first mural though that I'd like to point out will be coming up actually through the next set of lights. And that's of the Irish Civil War. Now this is often noted as the worst time period, or the darkest time period in Irish history. And once again, that is now just on our left. Coming up on our right though, the large church-like looking building, that is the Cultural Centre here on the Falls Road. Throughout your visit, if you're wanting to get a little bit more of an understanding of the Irish culture, or even the Irish language, I highly recommend heading in there for a visit. There is also a cafe and restaurant. That is now just over to our right. The Irish Cultural Centre. Directly in front of us though, the large glass building, that is part of the Royal Victoria Hospital. We actually have 4 hospitals here in Belfast, but the Royal Victoria Hospital is the largest. And it spans over 2 miles, give or take a few buildings. Now this rose and grew immensely throughout the 1980s and 1990s. Firstly because of its location here on the Falls Road and within the Troubles itself, but also because of its medical and technological advances. Now the mobile defibrillator was actually invented in this very hospital. This is also the only hospital that actually has a helicopter landing pad. It's just above us, on the building in front, but slightly to our right now. Over to our left though, we have St. Clement College. This is a grammar school, and a grammar school for girls. Now a notable alum to come from here include Mary McAleese. Now she was actually the second female president of Ireland. Coming up though, probably 2 things that I'd like to point out. Firstly, on our left will be the Easter Rising mural. This was actually unveiled in 2016, 100 years since the Rising itself. Now it depicts the GPO, or General Post Office, with a phoenix rising above. That's where much of the conflict actually took place down in Dublin, at the General Post Office. Across from that, to our right, we'll have Dunville Park. This was donated by the Dunville family. They were a prominent family here on the Falls Road in the late 1800s. When they donated this land, they had 2 conditions though. Firstly, it must always remain as a park for the people of the Falls Road. Secondly, that it must be maintained to a high standard, never to be left to run in ruin. Now as we make our way along, you'll notice that both of those 2 conditions still hold true today. Also in the centre of Dunville Park, you'll see the original Victorian water fountain.
I'm hungry again. Oh, there is something happening up there. There is something happening up here. There's like lots of people. Can't see yet. Could be a funeral or something.
So I'll ask again, is most people staying on for the whole way? Or I know a few are getting off at the jail still. Yep, jail. Whole way. Whole way? Brilliant. So the Shankill Road's one of the last places. So that'll be stopped 16 and 17. And then you have to, if you want to get off again, you have to go the whole way around to get off. If you want to get off the Shankill, I'd maybe say get off at the top 16 since it's the start.
Victory to the workers of the
And then
NHS.
within half an hour, another big red bus will pass, and then just jump on that one, and then you continue for the rest of the tour. Probably the best way to call it, yeah. And then if it does start to rain, at least if you're on the Shankill Road, there's cafes, like places to go in to like not get
You're not
soaked
going nowhere.
too much. But once again, as we make our way through the set of lights, to our right we have Dunville Park with the original Victorian water feature. And over to our left, just coming into view shortly, will be the Eastern Rising mural.
I don't know whether to do flash or not.
And there it is now, just on our left.
Phoenix. Oh yeah, look, yeah, the wall. I don't know if they'll come out any good in through a window. So I think I'll stop using a film. Yeah, Shelby's. Selby's. Yeah, no H. No. Proper Victorian.
So coming up, we'll be stop 13 on our maps. And it'll be for the Bobby Sand mural as well as the mural for the other members of the Hunger Strike group. Bobby Sanzo was the first member of the Hunger Strike group to pass away after 66 days. Now himself and his fellow strikers were trying to be seen as political prisoners rather than criminal.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Now this didn't just last for a couple of weeks, it actually lasted for just over 10 months. Now each week, one of the members of the Hunger Strike group would then begin their strike, which prolonged the strike itself. There is also just a funeral procession, just coming up in front of us. So we'll just be a moment until we actually get to stop 13.
Yes, it will be behind your left-hand shoulder, but we will slow down and stop them.
As well, they look cool. Procession. Yeah, so I hope we can get past it. Moving up the old traffic. I think it's great that they do that. Better be asleep. Session in front of us.
where anyone would be. Like, it's not nothing to do with like the troubles or anything. Now, obviously, there's some more safe places than others, but that's still any city. It's quite our crime rate actually in Belfast, just Northern Ireland as a whole, is one of the lowest in the whole of the UK. I always like to say it's because all the criminals live in Parliament, so it's like every other country. I'll just go let Nolan know that. Stop 16. And then I'll remind him anyway of the line, just so he's aware.
Might be able to like cut bits off this second. Seems to be a lot of people, huh?
But as we do slowly creep our way forward, at the next street, if you look to your left and over your left-hand shoulder, that will be the mural of Bobby Sands. mural.
I don't know who that is.
Continuing on over our left-hand shoulder, another mural is dedicated to the other members of the Hunger Strike group. Coming up on our right though, there'll be a large letter H. This actually depicts the other members of the Hunger Strike group who also lost their lives in 1981. It's in the shape of a large H as they were housed in the H cell blocks in the prison. Next door to that you have the IRAD Company Garden of Remembrance. That's what the D's on the fence line represent. These will both be on your right. You'll also notice the Irish tricolour flying.
It's interesting.
Once again, just on our right, we have the large H. As well as the Garden of Remembrance for the IRAD Company. Ahead on our right though, you'll notice a white and red building. This is actually Dennis Tower. Throughout the travels, the top 3 floors of this were used as an observation deck, occupied by the British Army. The only way in or out though was via helicopter. At that time, this dome structure on top was not there. It was a key location though for the British Army as it looked over both the east and the west of Belfast. Ahead on our left though, we have our International Wall of Murals. This is an ever-changing art gallery depicting the thoughts and feelings of this community here at West Belfast. Now I'll point out a couple as we make our way along. Firstly, we'll have Nelson Mandela. In my country, we go to prison first and then become president. And next door to him, we have the mural of Francis Hughes. He was actually the second member of the Hunger Strike group to pass away in 1981. He was only 25 years of age at the time. We now have the International Wall of Murals now on our right. You will notice though, as we make our way through the set of peace gates directly in front of us, and then through the second set, we'll be leaving one community and heading into the next. As a result, the murals on the wall will also change. So we are now leaving though, the more nationalist, Republican or Catholic community, and heading into the more unionist, loyalist and Protestant community. Now these peace gates that we are heading through now will close tonight at 6 p.m. and then reopen at 6 a.m. in the morning. Now over to our right, as you can clearly see now, the murals have changed. Now prominently featuring the Union Jack. Now these peace gates, as well as the peace wall that we're about to be seeing, built in this area and is a high interface area. Now this basically means that these two communities lived in very, very close proximity to one another. But don't worry, that's not the peace wall ahead. That's just someone's back garden. Johnny, Deb?
Yes.
Alice in Wonderland is a very good back garden though. But directly in front of us, this is the peace wall. Now you'll notice it's actually built in 3 sections. Firstly, we have the lower cement, the middle corrugated iron, and then the upper wire. Now each one of these sections was built at different times as a way to combat car bombings, as well as bombs being thrown from one side to the other. Over to our left though, we have another set of the peace gates. Once again, these will close at 6 o'clock tonight, then reopen at 6 o'clock in the morning. We are now though going to be making our way along the longest section of the peace wall. The other sections have been taken down and turned into community areas such as parks. Actually, in an effort to continue this peacemaking process that began with the Good Friday Agreement in 1998, a section a little bit closer towards the base of the mountain has been taken down. There's actually plans for this to be turned into a community centre or an interface community centre for everyone to enjoy. Here you'll also see that there's many names and inscriptions along the wall itself. This has become a sort of tourist attraction here in Belfast. Visitors to come sign their names and leave messages of hope. A few notable people to come and sign our wall include the Dalai Lama, as well as the then US Presidents Bill Clinton and Barack Obama. Now this was in an effort to either spark, maintain or continue this peacemaking process. Their inscriptions are covered by a set of terracotta tiles coming up shortly on our left. Now, as I did mention, this is the largest section. But the peace walls are also made up of things like the peace gates we pass through, as well as strategically placed roundabouts and roads. But altogether, if you were to put everything together that forms the peace wall, it would span about 20 miles. Over to our left, if you look down the road, you'll see another set of the peace gates. These are unique though for two reasons. Firstly, these will remain open 24/7. They only close at signs of trouble. And unlike the others that are closed manually, these are closed automatically by the police station next door. This is due to this being a very high interface area, but a highly open area as well. So throughout the troubles, if someone was to come and close them manually, they're at risk of being shot or even bombed. We are now though coming up to the Shankill Road, which is stop 16 and 17 on our maps. Shankill, meaning old church in Irish. The church in question is actually just up to our left, the large spire. Now if you took a bird's eye view of this church, it's actually in the shape of a shamrock. As we do make our way along the Shankill Road, you'll notice the colours of red, white and blue prominently displayed, as well as the Union Jack. Remembering this is a Unionist, Loyalist or Protestant area. This will also be stops 16 and 17, for those of you following on your map, upper and lower Shankill. Now if you would like to jump off here on the Shankill Road, let us know by pressing these buttons scattered throughout the bus.
Street, you'll pass the bus into the yeah. And it's just past
shortly. Just let a few people out.
See you later.
We do have 2 free seats up here if you would like to, if anyone downstairs would like to come up. 2 seats undercover. The first mural though that I'd like to point out will be shortly coming up through the next set of lighting on our left. This will be a UVF mural, or Ulster Volunteer Force. It depicts 5 individuals who lost their lives here in the conflict on the Shankill Road. Now you know they have indeed lost their lives as their faces are shown. Now if they were alive today, as a level of privacy, their faces would be covered. Once again, this is just here on our left. The UVF mural, Ulster Volunteer Force. Also on our left coming up, just past the zebra crossing, the blue building, is the Court Credit Union. This wasn't always a bank, it was a chip shop or chippy shop. That was where one of the bombings took place here on the Shankill Road. Now this is remembered by the Red Cross, as well as the plaque in the centre of the building itself. Coming up on our right, we have the World War I and World War II Memorial Garden here on the Shankill Road. You'll also notice throughout that the Union Jack is prominently displayed. Continuing on our right though, just past the set of trees, is the Ulster Tower mural. This is dedicated to the 36th Ulster Division who fought in the Battle of the Somme. That was in World War I. Around 2,000 men from this area actually fought in that battle, with many of them unfortunately losing their lives. Coming up on our left, just before the set of lights, there's a mural dedicated to Queen Elizabeth II. This was unveiled last year at her Jubilee. The smaller mural at the bottom right was then added at the time of her passing. And when she did pass, the ground in front of this mural was laid with flowers. Those flowers were then taken and given to the local hospitals for the patients. Coming up on our right, this will be slightly over our right hand shoulder where the flags are. This was another bombing that took place here on the Shankill Road, the Bernardo Bar. This is where it once stood. Just past the Iceland though, you'll see a more graphic mural. And the third picture along from the left and the second from the right is the Bernardo bomb itself. Now it is key to mention that throughout this entire time of trouble, no one side held a monopoly, no one side was in the right, no one side was in the wrong. That was a key part of the Good Friday Agreement. It wasn't to place blame on any one individual or group, but rather acknowledge what had taken place and then move forward in this peacemaking process. But that is us now just leaving the Shankill Road and heading down Agnes Street. Now I did mention before that we were surrounded by mountains. Directly in front of us, that is Cave Hill. In a moment though, we're going to be passing stop 18 on our maps. That is for the Kremlin Road Courthouse and Jail. Now these were both designed by, yet again, Charles Lanyon. Honestly, he must have had stocks or something in Belfast, the amount of buildings he has designed. They both opened in the late 1800s, with the jail closing in 1996 and the courthouse in 1998. The courthouse though has been left in a bit of a state. It is heritage or historically listed though, meaning it cannot be knocked down. It is up for sale though, it's currently on the market. So if you're looking to, find a property here in Belfast, have a look at that one. It's a little bit of a fixer-upper though, a couple of windows, liquor paint, and she'll be right to go though. This is on the right of the road, and on the left will be the jail itself. This is a museum where you can head in, see what life was like. Just a reminder, the buses leave every half an hour and on the hour from City Hall. It's up until 2:30, then there's one at 3:15 and 4 o'clock. Now 4 o'clock will be the last bus to leave City Hall. Arriving here at roughly 5 o'clock. That's obviously depending on
Difference
traffic.
in the prices of petrol.
But if this is your stop with us, you just continue along the black fence to the flagpoles, turn left, and that is the entrance to the jail. You're right to come on down.
See you later. See you later. No worries. See you later. You want to move up front?
It's okay, you go.
We're nearly finished. Go on, you go.
Go on, come on. Thank you.
I mean, you've got about 10 minutes left anyway.
All right.
So get the prime seat.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Bobby. Alright, that's better. Oh, I wish I had this.
Now, welcome to those who have just joined us. We do have 6 seats up the top here that are in the undercover section. There's 6 seats up here undercover.
But it would have been good, wouldn't it?
Please make sure you are in a seat. We don't have anyone standing on our bus. No worries.
Oh, look at this.
And over to our right, we have the courthouse. And to our left, the jail. Now, a key feature that actually joins these two together is a tunnel that runs underneath the ground of where we're currently passing. So if you were sentenced in the courthouse to your right, you're then taken underneath this tunnel and directly into your cell to the left.
And do you like the jail? Did your heart sink? Yes. I like to, like I've seen it like maybe 3 or 4 times now, and every time I know what's coming, and my heart still sinks every single time.
Over to our left though, we have another one of our hospitals here in Belfast. Now this is the Mater Hospital, or Mater Hospital, depending on how you'd like to pronounce it, but it's M-A-T-E-R. To me though, it doesn't really matter what you call the matter, as long as you're getting the help you need. If you look directly ahead to the roundabout, you'll notice a large pole with a set of cameras on it. Now, these actually turn and swivel, and they're controlled by the police station just over to our left and up the road a little bit. These are similar to the automatic peace gates, so at any sign of trouble, the police could turn these, assess the situation, and then send in the correct reinforcements. Once again, this took out a level of danger for the police themselves. Over on our right though, the third building along, you'll notice a man riding a horse. That's King William of Orange, or King William III, who fought and won against King James II in the Battle of Boyne in 1690. Funny enough though, King James was actually the father-in-law of King William. Way to keep the fight within the family. Directly ahead though, the large building with the tall spire, that is St. Patrick's Church. That was built in 1877. It's another stunning example of our architecture here in Belfast. It's also one of the largest Catholic churches in the entire city. Behind that, the large glass buildings is part of the new Ulster University complex. That opened last year to replace the other campus around 5 miles outside of the city. That campus though outside of the city is still being used for its sports facilities. Once again, just to our left, we have St. Patrick's Church. Directly ahead of us though, the large glass dome that actually sits on top of Victoria Square Shopping Centre. Now you can head up to the top of that dome for free via a lift or elevator and get panoramic views of the city. I mean, you can take the stairs if you're feeling very adventurous. Over on our left, we have St. Anne's Cathedral. This is actually home to the largest Celtic cross in the world. Above that, you also have the spire. This spire actually lights up at night time. I like to say it's a beacon within the cathedral quarter. Now this being the entrance to the cathedral quarter from this side of the city. Remembering the cathedral quarter is a great place where you'll find lots of bars and restaurants, and similar to the Temple Bar area down in Dublin. In a moment, as we turn the corner though, to our right, for any of you line of duty fans who recognise the police headquarters or police station. Now it's often referred to here in Belfast though. Sorry, that was me again, Alan. That was me. as the Belfast Central Library. But sometimes we are actually lucky enough to see filming being taken place out the front. Let's see if today is that day. No, it's not. But it's just the second building along. To our right, the Belfast Central Library. Now just remembering that is only the facade that is used throughout the series. The indoor scenes were filmed over in Titanic Studios, which we passed right at the beginning of our tour. I'd also like to take this time, though, to mention the other tours we have available. So if you're thinking to head up to the Giant's Causeway, which I would definitely recommend, or even some Game of Thrones filming locations, there's tours that lead here. So if you're on the bottom of your map, there's a number. You can give that a call. You can jump onto our website. You can have a chat to myself. Or better yet, chat to the boys on the ground, the people that you got your tickets from. They'll also be able to give you a ticket for the Giant's Causeway and Game of Thrones tours as well. Also, we are coming to the end of our tour. If you do need any more information about anything, after we exit the bus, just give me a shout. The boys, or even Alan, our bus driver, and we'll be able to help you out. Over to our right, though, we have Castle Court, the second of our two large shopping centres here in Belfast. Directly ahead, though, you'll see a McDonald's on the corner. That sits on High Street. Underneath High Street, though, is actually an underground river. This is known as the River Farset, and it runs directly into the River Lagan, which we crossed earlier today, which is now parallel to us on our left. So all of this area here, all the way down High Street in front of the McDonald's, the Primark, and continuing to our left is all reclaimed land. Ahead and our left, though, you'll notice a series of pillars coming out of the ground. Now these name the White Star Line ships that were built here in Belfast. So you'll have the Olympic as well as the Nomadic, which we actually saw earlier today, and is open for tours, as well as the Titanic. The Titanic, though, is the furthest pillar along, closest to City Hall. Getting a stunning view of City Hall right now, though. It's actually opened in 1906, but planning for it began in 1888. Now, for those who remember, that was when Queen Victoria gave us our city status here in Belfast. There's actually a statue of Queen Victoria herself directly in the centre. If you are walking around Belfast at night, you'll also see City Hall as it's lit up by multiple different coloured lights. Just the way the roads work here, we'll actually head back around behind City Hall before coming back to stop one. We'll be passing though the Titanic Memorial Garden again. Remembering this is the largest Titanic Memorial Garden in the world, and also lists those individuals in alphabetical order rather than by class, gender or race. And is it just here now on our right? This does mean though we're coming to the end of our tour, unfortunately. I know, very, very sad. The next bus though will be the bus to head out, will be the bus in front of us as we pull up. But if you have enjoyed this tour, that is firstly wonderful. If you'd like to give us a review at all, we'd love to hear it. Any negative feedback though, I just ask that you write that on the back of a £10 note and then put it in our little tip bin at the front. No, I'm only kidding. £20 notes only for negative feedback. But if you would like to leave us a little tip today, it would be greatly appreciated. On behalf of myself, Tessa, your guide, and Alan, our bus driver, I'd like to welcome you to Belfast. But if you are unfortunately leaving us in the next day or tomorrow even, we wish you a safe onward journey and a safe passage home. I do ask though that you do remain seated until we have come to a complete stop and I get the okay that we can disembark.
Find our way back. Okay. Where do we have to walk back again? Charlotte and ask her to send me a I don't have my phone. You don't have your phone? She said she was going to send them as well.
So we will actually be the next bus to leave, but we won't leave till 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock.